Another day, another dollar. Oh, looks cute. Come in. Their name tags. Let there be lights. Today's fit check. Look, we even got some little booties today. I like missed wearing these. I'm like 3 for 3 on the days of bringing classy back to teaching. Sounds good. It is officially day 3, y'all. Welcome. I got here earlier than normal today. Go me. I will say, in the parent aspect, I don't know if any other teacher moms feel this way, but I wish schools didn't plan things the first week back. I have someone's open house, another just meeting for some type of sport, another has a whole varsity football game on Friday night. It's just a lot, like, for teacher moms, right? Just all the things. And then my poor daughter, her bus was an hour late the first day. Yesterday it was like coming home. And that's where I really miss having the later start than everyone, because at least I knew everybody got off to school safely. So that's been weighing really heavy on me. Last year it definitely made me really rethink of what school I want to be at and everything. I also don't want to make completely like rash decisions, because I came to this school only because I wanted to be closer to my own children, but I ended up being like very sorry I left like my safe place at the same time. So I just kind of want to be a little more careful as I move forward with like making those decisions, you know? And she only has 2 more years left in middle school before she's on to high school, and then she will be later than me if I stay here. So okay, that was my mom thing this morning. But today, this morning, before we have to get outside, I do want to prep for an activity we're going to do. I am going to attempt to teach them how to use scissors today. May God be with us. But I have this activity that I do every year. I have this cute little Scissors on Strike book. So we'll read the Scissors on Strike book, and then after we read the book, I will teach them how to use scissors. So I'm going to kind of take you through what the activity looks like, how I teach it to them. Here we go. Also, I need to wash my hands, because what even is this? I do love our little courtyard. Okay, look how cute. We did these last year in kinder. So cute. Oh, the art fell. I used to think Title I schools had all the supplies, and then I learned that no, they don't. Okay, we're looking for colored construction paper. That's not like completely faded out. Oh, I found some. I wanted more pastel-y colors, but this will just have to do. It's not a big deal. My morning has not been horrible. It is probably the best morning that we've had this week. I'll take it. I have felt the highest of highs and the lowest of lows this week, so I'm kind of just riding the wave, riding the roller coaster. We did do a grade level fire drill this morning. If you remember from yesterday, we did a practice one, just my class, and it went really good. The grade level one, my class was like a hot mess with, but I had gotten like confused on like where we were supposed to be standing. Our like lineup dots, you can like not see them at all, and like where I kind of thought it wasn't. So we had to like shift over, and it kind of threw them off a little bit, but that was a totally like my bad, not their bad. Tomorrow the school will actually have a fire drill, so I will promise to be more prepared for that one. So it wasn't too bad though. At least like they had like the turn, because I have them walk down and then turn and flip when they get to the end, so at least they did have that down once we got to the spot, so that was a positive. We did get all of our Chromebooks today. They were assigned to kid. I have very different Chromebook cart here compared to my previous school, and it's so difficult for the kids to get them in and out, so I'm kind of curious. I would love to know if you can comment down below how you organize your Chromebooks. And I have things I could use. I just wanted to take up like as minimal space as possible. I had a beautiful big cart at my last school, and I really miss it so much. And it just was very spacey. It was easy for the kids to use. And this one is not horrible, but there's just a couple sections in it that make it really difficult for the kids to be able to utilize it. So but we're gonna see. I'm curious, like, what kind of system do you use for your Chromebooks? Do you let the kids go and get theirs? Do you not? I'm always looking to like grow in those type of areas that can make things a lot easier on myself and the kids, so would love to know. And let's see, this morning oh my goodness, we did scissors today. I have one friend who will probably not be able to use the community supplies, but that's not the worst, right? One out of all of them. Yeah, let's go through our scissor story. The scissor story that I use is so cute. I had gotten it off Amazon one year. I pretty much like to introduce every school supply that we're going to use with a different piece of literature. So this one I found is called Scissors on Strike. This will definitely tell you it's a little bit higher of a DOK. They do have to do some inferencing and things like that. So it is a really good story to see if they're able to kind of do that naturally, or if you have to be able to like coach them along, which I had a couple that surprisingly were able to make some really good inferences in the story, so I was excited. But anyways, throughout the story of Scissors on Strike, it is hilarious because the scissors kind of tell you how they're treated all throughout the story. Like this one says, for example, they twirl us on their fingers, which gives us major headaches. And it goes through pretty much all the ways that students will misuse scissors. And it's great because it allows you to talk about all the rules of scissors without actually telling them, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So it allows for like questioning of like, well, why do you think we shouldn't twirl our scissors? And just things of that nature that you could incorporate into the lesson of introduction. We had grabbed all that construction paper out the lounge this morning, and this is exactly what it's for. All the tables are given a whole bunch of these strips of paper. And when I teach the students how to use the scissors, I'm gonna grab one of theirs so you can see. So here is their team's bucket. We have the whiteboard, marker, and eraser from yesterday. And then they have their scissors. So on all my scissors, I'm doing it by colors this year, so every table has a different color, and that'll just be how we keep things organized. This is yellow table, obviously, and then you can see the dot. So what I do is first I tell them how we never run with scissors, we never walk around the room with scissors, and to hold them safely, if we do happen to do one of those things, we fist it. So they first start with a fist. Then I tell them how we're gonna point them up in the air, and you're gonna look at the dot, and the dot is gonna look at you. Next, I have them show me a thumbs up, and we put our thumb in this one. We point it forward. They have face partners, so I say point it carefully to your face partner. And then we finger it, these fingers, and then we literally pretend we're cutting the air. Open, close. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. Then, of course, I model. And I tell them how we are going to do our best to cut squares. So they literally make a giant pile with their team, and they just go and cut the squares. And of course, I'm catching these, but they just go and they could just fall on their table. And it's great because as they get going, they just cut, and then they just place it right back in their team bucket. Now you're asking yourself, what do you do with all these scraps? Well, I have the whole team put their scraps in a plastic bag, and tomorrow we're gonna learn about glue. And sometime today I will prep their names on large construction paper going across, and then with their little scraps from today, they will glue their scraps onto their name. So it's kind of like two birds, one stone. So each team just has their scraps in their bag from yesterday. And yeah, nice and simple. Great way to teach them how to cut. I used to do stickers here instead. I've seen a lot of teachers do that, but over the years I've stopped doing that because whoever would take them off, I had a student that ate all the things last year, so it's now the black dot. like me and you love all the literature, this is a great one to do with your scissor introduction. I was kind of bummed today because I did plan to introduce name writing and start us on getting their names. I wanted to at least pull them each one by one and have them write their name, but I had started and I had one student that even had any idea of what I was talking about. That's it. So I am going to brainstorm tonight just exactly how I want to tackle this. I'm thinking I have a couple of students that have like the same letters that begin their names, so I'm gonna kind of see if I could break it down at least that way, like if I could do all my A's together, all my R's, all my N's, at least just to break, not just do it completely one-on-one, but because I do need to like get the ball rolling. Next week, that's gonna be our entire focus is name writing and just all the things with our names. From what I have seen so far, I really don't think any of them have like letter recognition or any of those things. So this is gonna be interesting, y'all. This is gonna be interesting. But before we can really get to anything, we gotta at least get to know our name and be able to recognize it. So, oh, which that leads me to another thing we did today. I actually surprised myself this morning and I was able to get our little birthday thing done. I wasn't going to print the title, but now I'm going to go home and print the title because I think it'll look cute. Because if you notice, like around the room, I have like all the other ones up on the boards. So I like when things match. Okay, my school uses a dollar system. This is part of like our PBIS. So they get these auto dollars. And I keep them all up there in that bucket alongside my lovely thing that Miss Van Horn let me have last year. This is also a card from her and it just reminds me of her, so I leave it there. But these are our mailboxes. So it has their names and then they obviously can't write their name yet. So we're just sticking them in there now. And I'm hoping that this will slowly start to get them to like recognize their names. So we did that today because they've been accumulating so many. That was a huge thing I was not ready for last year, and the first day they were already getting dollars and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like not planning to introduce this so soon. So I knew ahead of time this year to already start getting them. So they've been keeping them very carefully at their nameplates, but now it's nice that they know to just like when they get back from somewhere, they just go put it in their mailboxes. So that's been awesome. We also went further into our calendar today, which I was super excited about because we're adding more and more. This loveliness is from A Touch of Class Teaching, Miss Stephanie Nash herself. I am obsessed with her bundle. It did come with a alphabet too, but I had already like made my own. But I think next year I'll probably keep all this stuff and then change it up a little bit by just doing hers. But I am like in love with the colors and all the things. So far we've introduced the calendar itself. We go through each day and we count to see what the new date is. We'll do mirror words to repeat the whole entire date. It's a great way for me to just touch on and kind of notify them ahead of time what our special will be for the day, and then we'll talk about the weather. Here okay, I'm not going to tell you what this is yet, because what I'm going to put here, because it's going to be cute and I'm just going to show it to you. And then we've also started counting how many days we've been in school. So this is like where I just simultaneously introduce base 10. Base 10 is a first grade concept. However, it is a great way to challenge your students with the number sense and getting them to just kind of have a little more awareness of it before they do hit first grade. So I very much kind of do it to where like once we fill up a 10 frame, I show them with the base 10 cubes how now that's a whole entire 10, and then I'll actually draw it that way too. So I try to introduce that number sense in the beginning to where like once they hit first grade, they're not unlearning and then relearning a concept, if that makes sense. And I just do it gradually, and like over time they just kind of start to grasp it. So we've started that. We're 3 days in, y'all. That means there's only 177 more days to go. Not that we're counting, but. So the morning was actually super productive. We're getting there. They seemed to do a lot better this morning. I definitely do think this group thrives off of productivity and staying busy, so I'm literally going to hit the floor moving. We're going to hit the ground and we're going to move this thing along because I just think they need to be doing things. They seem to be very interested in new things too, so we're going to keep pushing. This afternoon, after specials, we do have a Kelsa's Choices presentation being put on by one of our wellness team members, so that will be good. So I had kind of taken the poster off the wall from where I had it, and I just put it right up here. I think I'm actually going to keep it up here in the front. Our school utilizes Kelsa's Choices, so I think it'll be good the first couple weeks if I have this up here, just to kind of be able to constantly remind them of what choices that they could refer to if something's going on. And then this way it helps them out at recess, but also helps me and all the other people that got to deal with them. It's after school, y'all. We made it. We made it. We made it. The afternoon, it had started to go downhill, but then it peaked right back up. Our counselor came in to do a Kelsa's Choices, like I had mentioned earlier. They did not listen to her, and they were I was trying to let her wheel them back in. I hate when other people are presenting to them and you just interrupt, but it just got to a point where I was okay, I can't even anymore. So, but within that time, we kind of had somewhat of a Chromebook crisis among the school. Well, it's not even a crisis. I honestly hate the technology in the classroom, so it didn't bother me like it had bothered some other people, but we are starting our iReady testing on Friday, so we do need them ready and going. And one nice thing that they do here, each of our students has a QR code that's attached to them for kindergarten, and when they sign into the computer, they could just scan their QR code, and it's so nice because they don't have to type in an email or type in a password, or we don't have to. It's such a time saver. And our tech guy last year just made it to where when they opened their Chromebook, the screen was already there for them to just scan the code, and it was so easy. And so we thought it would be like that this year, and then it wasn't. And then we all didn't have enough Chromebooks, and just a mess. And then we were given new ones, but then they couldn't do the thing with the QR code that the other ones could. So some people were upset. I'm very much whatever. I go with the flow with that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. But it did get done, and I did kind of come up with a system that I think I'm going to kind of roll with. My class this year is just, I had a very low class this year, but I honestly feel like this class might be even lower. They don't even seem to have number sense and those kind of things, so I'm not even able to identify their names or those kind of things. So I've assigned everyone a number, and I'm if I could just at least get them to recognize that number. So pretty much how I'm going to do it is how I said, each kid has their own number. So the number 3 kid will line theirs up with the number 3, and they'll just get the number 3. They line up in our class at the number 3, which is obviously over there. So all the things will just be number 3, and we'll start there, so that this way at least we could get started with everything. It'll be color coordinated, so this way they're not standing there looking for their number. I'm hoping that at least if it's only 3 different purple ones, they'll be able to figure it out. So yes, when I took psychology too, it was a major thing of how we're better at remembering things when there's colors associated with it. So that's what I'm telling myself anyway will help in this situation. At some point today, either when we were outside for the fire drill practice or I was sitting over here working on the things, I got bit, both on my butt and on my leg, and they hurt, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm a tad concerned, but I'm gonna wrap this up so that I can go home. I just now feel gross and I need to shower and I don't see anything, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do want to go take a Benadryl, make dinner, chill, shower. I want to shower. Okay, but overall, today was more promising. Today was definitely the best day we've had this week. It had its highs and lows, just like I've been feeling this week, but overall, it wasn't too bad. I'm leaving not wanting to pull my hair out today, so I will take that. I will take that. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have been amazing just with all the videos that have been rolling out and your feedback in the comments. It makes all of this so much fun for me when you guys are so interactive, so I so appreciate it. But until next time, I'm Charlie and I'm out.